Okay, our speaker tonight is running a little bit late as usual. People always have a hard time getting up here to Bartlesville. So she's running about 15 minutes late, which means we'll go ahead and get started with our business portion of the meeting, and hopefully that'll give her enough time to show up. So if you guys will go ahead and stand and join me in the pledge, we'll begin with attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. We would start with our secretary's report, but I just sent her out to the car to get me some ibuprofen. So let's skip ahead to Celeste. Celeste, would you give us a financial report and update on the Hoskins campaign, please? If you want to come up here, please. And if you guys are having a hard time hearing, there's a lot of seats up here in front, so go ahead and move up here. It's better not to miss the meeting than to just tell me later, oh, here. We've got seats, so go ahead and move on.
So our vice chair report is we have $3,834.05 in our account. We put in a legal notice for the county convention, which is next month. And so that was in the paper. That cost us about $20. So I wanted to make an announcement about the Cherokee elections, which are happening. The actual election day is June 3rd. And it's a big campaign. And if anyone is interested in working either for pay or as a volunteer, they're looking for both. They have a campaign office here in Bartlesville. It's on Jacqueline. I don't know if you guys know. There's the Homeland over on Madison. It's in a little complex right above that. So there's three campaigns. There's the chief, which is Chief Chuck Hoskins Jr. And I don't know if you all know, yeah, right. I don't know if you all have been following him, but follow his work and his campaign, because there's so many Cherokees here in Oklahoma. And I think it's the biggest tribe in the US. They just had their 450,000 member born this past month. And they have a very vibrant economy and community and culture here in Oklahoma. We actually live in Cherokee Nation. And the work that they're doing is they're running it honestly like Democrats would. They have amazing initiatives for affordable housing. Anytime that anybody needs something, they have tribal representatives here locally. We live in District 12, and I'm sure a lot of you know Dora Pastowski. She's always going around and not just looking out for Cherokees, but any social agency in town, she's trying to look to help them, to help the community and help the citizens. So we're really lucky that she's here looking out for everybody. And anyway, campaign is looking for campaign workers. You want to canvass door to door. They have phone call, they have text banking, they have all the, it's really, it's a big campaign. So there's a lot of room for if you want to just come in for an hour or two, or if you want to just come and check it out. Please take a look. It's HoskinWarner.com.
Thank you, Celeste. Rebecca, Secretary, do you have a report? No? Okay. And with regard to the election, when she said it's run a lot like Democrats, sometimes we don't know anything about a candidate, and that's the way that I was about the Hoskins-Warner campaign. I've gone over there and worked for them for a little bit, but I knew nothing about them. And sometimes the best way to know about a campaign is to look who's working for them. And I know a lot of people who have worked for a lot of great candidates. You have sat with me and hosted here in Bartlesville, and they're on his campaign. They're not on the other campaigns. They're working for him. So just know that it's all the good people. All the good people from this area that we've worked with, that worked for Joy, that have worked for Gina, that have worked for all the other candidates that we've supported. They're out there beating cement for him right now. So if you guys want to work for something quality, do go check him out.
Well, it's John Weston.
Yeah, John Weston is the field director for this area, our affirmative action officer, who's unable to attend tonight because he's working with that campaign. He's the one heading that office, so it's a friendly face, it's someone you know. Go help them out if you're interested. If you'd like to do something for us instead, that would be great. Consider running for office. So this is my chair's report, which is just the basic. We have a convention April 15th at 10 o'clock at the Bartlesville Public Library. At that convention, we will select precinct officers. Those precinct officers will then select your county leadership, the chair, vice chair, secretary, affirmative action, and the state delegates, the people who will go with the officers, 5 others who will go with the officers to the district convention in Muskogee, and the state convention in Tulsa. Now, it's important to remember, so you guys have very strong opinions. That's wonderful. You share them with me all the time. If you want to have a say in who is leading this party for the next 2 years, you have to show up, not tonight, not April 30th or May 30th or whatever. You need to be there for the convention because that's where this is decided. And only those people who commit to being a precinct chair, vice chair, or secretary will have a say in who the next chair of the county party is or who the next vice chair is. So there is a little bit of responsibility that comes with the benefit of voting, I guess. But just know that we never really call on precinct officers to do a whole lot. Maybe that's why we don't do as well. Maybe we should, but just know that you've got to be involved, or else, like I said in our email, we're kind of going to go the way of some of the other counties around here, like Osage County, that isn't organized. There's no meeting for those Democrats over there to Nowata County. We don't think that they're organized either. There's no meetings for them to attend. It's not normal for counties to have a Democratic Party in Oklahoma anymore. We used to win. We used to win everything. We don't even have a presence in the counties anymore. So please understand that I'm not asking you to get involved just because I'm tired and I don't want to do it anymore. I'm asking you to do it because if nobody does, it will disappear just like the other counties. Yeah, and that'll be a shame. A one-party system just doesn't work. So please, I'm begging you, think about getting involved, even if it's just the precinct officer. Please just consider doing that. Yeah, Angela.
Hi. Angela. Urge everyone to cut this. It affects the numbers moving to county and then to state. The state convention is in Tulsa. It is not Oklahoma City. This is a good time to consider becoming a precinct officer, which is chair, co-chair, and secretary. It's the bottom of the pyramid. We help get our neighborhood ready for an election. So I extremely hope that you choose to show up, bring a friend, bring 2 friends, and get involved, because he's right. We are going to disappear. All right, I'm concluded. Thank you for listening.
And she's right. It's very simple to get involved at the precinct level. It's not hard to have a say in your own party, but you do have to show up April 15th. It's not something that you can do by Zoom. It's not something that you can do by proxy. You got to show up that morning at the library, 10 o'clock. Registration will open at 9:45. You do have to be a registered Democrat, okay? So that's important. Some of you I know will register sometimes as Republican to do what you need to do, and I can understand that and respect it, but you cannot participate in the convention unless you are registered as a Democrat. So make sure that that's taken care of. Question?
Eric, lowest level, how we build a Democratic Party in Washington County, the representative of Washington County, and how we help other counties that have lost themselves and are blue dots in the sea of red, how we contact them and work together with them.
Yeah, so reorganization is the best place to begin that process, and that's exactly what I'm talking about right now. The convention on April the 15th is the first step towards us building every foundation, or the foundation for every campaign that is going to come through this area in the next cycle. So it's critically important, step one, that you be at that convention so that you have a say. And then you have to stay involved. I mean, it is at the library at 10 o'clock on April the 15th. Yes.
Okay, so that
Registered Democrats only. Yes. Yes, and when you get there, there will be a credentialing process where you will need to pull out your phone and go to the OK Voter portal, put in your information and show that you are a registered Democrat. We will have technology available to do that. If you don't know how to do that or don't have a smartphone, that's not a problem. We'll be able to look that up, but you will have to prove that you are a Democrat. You will use OK Voter portal because that's what the state has told us to use.
okay.
Yes.
Democratic Party, we have lists of Democrats in the area that we're contacting or
We have our own email list for Washington County because this is the Washington County Democrats. We have been solely focused on our own county, which we're not even winning. So I can say that it's a great idea to help other counties, and I'd like to do that. But when there's a lot of work to do at home, you don't always have time to go and clean someone else's living room. Right here, and that's exactly what our plan is here in Washington County. But again, we don't look beyond the borders of our county because that's not within our scope. We have Oklahoma is divided into county parties. It is divided into a district leadership, format, and then there's the state leadership. They all have their own responsibilities, and our responsibility is to take care of Washington County. So while I love the idea of party building in other counties, that's not our job. I mean, it may be our job as Democrats, but it's not the job of this leadership team. Their job is to build a party here. I know what you're saying, and I want to do that, but it's just not within our scope, is I guess what I'm trying to say. Irene, you had a question. I'm sorry, are there what? There will be other counties also having their conventions. Everyone's having their convention either the 8th or the 15th. People can attend this county convention if they like, but they can't participate in it because you have to be registered in Washington County in order to participate in our convention. That's a good question.
That is.
Yeah.
Maybe if you know someone in Osage or Nowata County and want to invite them if they're a Democrat to see the process.
Yeah, they could see the process, absolutely. But they can't participate. Okay, so please do consider being an officer. It's really important. This is the last chance I have to literally beg you. I'd get down on the floor, but I am old and these floors are let's see here. April 27th, assuming, is the next meeting. We are going to be electing officers before then, and so our meeting is always on the last Thursday. I imagine they'll it that way, but we don't know who those officers are or what they will decide. So keep that date open, April 27th. The location for the meeting is to be determined right now. Okay, let's get to our speaker. She's here. Our speaker is the Regional Coordinator of the DNC Veterans and Military Families Council Southern Midwest Region. A Navy veteran. Danyell is, like I just said, the Regional Coordinator of the DNC Veterans and Military Family Council Southern Midwest Region. She's a past president of the Oklahoma Democratic Party's Veteran Committee. In 2020, she bravely ran for Congress in CD2. Washington County is now part of CD2, so that matters. It's a mostly rural county or district, we know that, living here, and it includes eastern Oklahoma from Kansas border to Texas. Please help me in welcoming our speaker tonight, Danyell Lanier.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? It's a good day, isn't it?
Trump's indicted.
It's a good day for an indictment, isn't it? That's exactly where I was going with that. So I am glad to be here. Thank you for that very warm welcome. Yes, I am now the regional coordinator for the Veterans and Family Military Council. So what does that mean, Danyell? Happy to tell you what that means. That means that we will hopefully get put on the map a little bit more when it comes to DC, when it comes to recognition. We won't be overlooked as just, that state out in the Midwest. Hopefully, my goal, or what I want to try to do, is basically bring more veterans issues to light. Oklahoma has a lot of veterans, well over 400,000, I believe. So that's a lot of veterans. I'm gonna have to go back and double check. But the last time I did get the numbers, we're way up there with that. And most of our veterans, most people think that they're just men that serve. But we have a lot of women that serve. We have a lot of people of color that serve. A lot of Native Americans that serve. We want those people that feel left out, especially the veterans that feel, that, they served their time and now they've just come back and they're trying to figure it out. Most people don't even know how to sign up for their benefits or how to go about, filling out paperwork when it comes to getting a homestead exemption or where the VA is. We know the conditions of the VA. Part of the reason that I ran for Congress back in 2020 was my stepdad was a veteran. And at the time he had been diagnosed with cancer. And living down in Hugo at the time, it was hard to get him to the doctor in the stroke, or get him to the doctor in Oklahoma City. So we had to turn to Bonham, had to turn to taking him to Texas to Bonham. Unfortunately, the cancer did eventually take him a year later. But I was like, how many other veterans are dealing with this where they don't have care in their own town, or they gotta go hundreds of miles? Everybody doesn't have kids or grandkids or nieces or nephews that can get them to their appointments. Most of the transportation that we have in southeastern Oklahoma, it has to be planned in advance, or you have to go through sooner care to even get to the VA. And unfortunately, we lose a lot of veterans because of that. Living in southeastern Oklahoma, we lose a lot of people, period, just with the state of healthcare. But that's a different topic of a different day, right? Right. So our goals so far, as what the DNC is looking for with this, is we're trying to find out how many veterans actually are registered to vote. So that's where I'm gonna need each and everyone's help with that. If you know a veteran, just like we go out and talk to people, ask if they're a veteran, are you voting? When I served in the military, it was the preconceived notion that you had to vote, for the other, the red, because they felt like that was the only way to go. That was they were given a raise when it came to the military. But what I've been going out telling people is that this administration here, be it as it may, whether you agree or don't agree, this is the administration that has given the largest raise when it came to veterans, basically ever. So if you were a veteran, do we have any veterans in the house this evening? Thank you for coming out. You're welcome. This year was one of the largest raises we've ever gotten. I'd love to talk to you when I'm done up here. Please hang around for a little bit. Love to sit and talk. So with that, and then if anybody's familiar with the PACT Act, what the PACT Act is for the veterans that serve in different locations, not even necessarily war zones, but a lot of the zones where they were burning different types of fuel, different types of human waste. And now those people are coming up with different types of cancers, different types of diseases, and they need to be compensated for that. They need access to better healthcare for that. So I know I have a lot of time, but if you get the chance, please look the PACT Act up. This is one of the greatest pieces of legislation that was passed underneath this administration here. It is. Other type of legislation that's on the table as of right now is victims of sexual assault. So when it comes to being very passionate about veteran issues, that's me. And when they reached out to me and said, how would you like to be the regional coordinator for Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma? I was like, what took you so long? It took me so long. Absolutely. So I had to lay down my sword for the Oklahoma Democratic Veterans Committee because of the conflict of interest. And now I'm picking it back up for the veterans and military. So what can you do to help us out? Same thing you guys have been doing. Talk to veterans, find out what their war periods are, find out if they feel like they can have better access to veterans care. These are the things that I want to hear about. These are the things I want to report back to the DNC in Washington. I want to know how many elected officials have been reaching out to those veterans. What issues are they coming across? What are some things that that they're facing? I mean, granted, everybody can't be, a Navy veteran or anything like that, but that's okay. We love all of the other branches as well. Which branches you served in, sir? Of course, you did. There we go. My shipmate right there. So those are the things we're looking for, mainly focusing on voter registration. Just like, I think that's what you were going over as I stood up here. How are we going to work to get people registered to vote? We are a non-voting state. What are we going to do, guys, to change it? Questions you guys have for me?
So you went to the DNC this year. What was that like?
I did attend the Winter Council that was in Philadelphia. I felt like it was great. I got a chance to see some of our congresspeople, some of the people that you normally see on C-SPAN. And for me, I was just starting like, but I was able to kind of regroup myself and listen to what they had to say. The Rural Council really stood out for me because when we're talking about rural, we know rural as Oklahoma. There are also other states that are still dealing with the same issues that we deal with here. Infrastructure, access, overgrowth, not low-paying jobs, things of that nature, poverty. So around the country, people are coming together and saying, what are we going to do to change that? I know it gets weird sometimes and we feel like our vote doesn't count and people are just going to do what they are going to do. But believe me, whether you see it or not, it's making a difference. You guys. So that's kind of what they went over when we were there, talked about the Rural Council, talked about access, discussed the PACT Act. And as a group, we'll be meeting back this summer to kind of go back over some of the goals. What have we done? How many people have we registered to vote? And what are the issues that are concerning people? To kind of make a long story short. Celeste did print some more of these for you guys. So if it's something you're interested in, we have a few copies up here. If anybody would like. Yes, sir.
I know what our voting rates are in general around here. I'm curious, what are voting rates like amongst veterans? Do they vote at a higher rate than the average citizen, or what does that look like?
That is a fantastic question. That was the number one issue that came up at the Veterans Council, is that veterans are the most overlooked group when it comes to voting. because people figure they're gonna vote for the other guy and not vote for Democrats. And that is absolutely not true. If we aren't engaging with the people, they're gonna vote either way. And to be perfectly honest, the biggest group that actually helped flip this particular election in 2020 were the independents. So we gotta get people voting. We have to not assume that all veterans are gonna vote for the other guy. If we're talking to them about the issues at hand, that can change the course of the election coming up in 2024. So, yes, ma'am.
I'm kind of out of the loop, somebody here might be able to tell me a little bit more about the new veterans healthcare clinic out there where Cytel used to be. Right, all the-
The old Hastings is now a veterans, we have a new a VA, like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so is that someplace that we need to be making ourselves available to do Washington County, do you have any Washington County Democratic Party business cards we can use out?
No, we can have some made up really easily.
Let's do that. Everybody in here ought to have a Washington County.
Well, and what are the
I
rules
was-
about that kind of activity at those?
I would probably say you're going in just to register,
Okay.
just to register, yeah. Just, because that keeps it from leaning anyway political. I'm just here to just to register voters, anybody would like to vote, talk about absentee ballots, things like that, just keep it real neutral. If you're gonna go out there, because as soon as if you know, lean toward political leaning or party, then they'll have something to say. But if you're just, hey, you want to see if anybody wants to vote, if they might know how to get their absentee ballot, is there any questions, right, that we can answer for you, that probably would be the best approach. Absolutely, great questions, and thank you for asking that.
We have set up your Washington County. I'm gonna identify, I don't care what you say, I'm gonna identify myself as a Democrat.
Right.
If they want to shoot me down, they shoot me down. But are there people who need rides to the doctor's office? People here in Hartsville. You know, give me a call, if you're right. And I think every Democrat in here, if they were called upon to say, hey, somebody needs a ride out to the doctor's office or to the vet center for an appointment, anybody that's a Democrat in this room to be willing, if they've got a car and the wherewithal, to give them a ride.
Makes a great point. What's your thoughts? Yeah.
I just had a question for you.
Yes.
We don't have that, I mean, we don't have it set up that way now. We do, like, I know that there are Democrats here, and I won't share their names because it's private, but they've come to some of us and asked for rights to doctor's appointments in Tulsa or further, and people do that for each other. So it's something we do, but we don't have a, some system set up for anybody to just call. No, we don't.
Well,
We can,
tell me what to do to get something set up.
right.
So Democrats need help in this, and then we could put out a call on a tree, it can be private, it can be personal, it can be quiet. But if somebody needs help, they can.
And
And I don't care if they're Democrat or not. If somebody needs help in this county,
well,
I was rolling a piece of furniture up the street that I picked up at a yard sale the other day, trying to get it up the street. And the most wonderful thing happened, a guy named Brandon stopped and said, here, let me help you with that. He had a domino sign on top of his, I think it was domino or some pizza sign. And he was just the nicest person. He said, where do you live, where do you want to sit in the front door for me? He said, thank you very much. And I said, can I tip you? He said, no.
well, and
And
that's,
he said, bless you. And I told him my sister was.
I don't think that you're wrong. I think that we have stuff like that, but we are very lucky in that there are a lot of good nonprofits in
Yeah.
town that we could probably work with, but that's something I think for another day. That's a little bit not, I think, just. I think that's something for them.
About making nice, expanding.
Yeah.
But I'll look, okay, I'll refocus it to the day. Okay, not saying, yeah, we're running a little bit bigger.
Right, yeah, and I mean, we can think about that. I don't think we're gonna have an answer in the next 30 seconds, so, I mean, that's something we can think about. Something.
well, I can give it to you, anybody, anybody wants to work, I'm sure, ask me about, contact me, and I'll do something to try to set up a phone for yourself to contact you.
Any other questions for Danielle?
You ran a good campaign earlier. I was just wanting to know, how did you get involved with the Democratic Party? Did you start at the precinct level, precinct officers? Just
Great
trying to
question.
encourage that, or what's your story?
Okay, fair question. I am a Cherokee citizen, born in Tahlequah, raised in Hugo, and my folks, my mother, my stepdad lived in Oklahoma. And that particular year, my mom got sick. Yeah, I knew I was gonna run for my stepdad. So, because that's when, the issues were happening, and I'm looking around like, I want somebody to do something, how can this just be, for him? And when my mom got sick and she had a stroke, there was no place in Oklahoma that could treat her, and I had to take her to Dallas to be able to get her back up and running, and that's when I said, I've had enough. And, why not me? And that's when I said, okay, what's going on in District 2, what's going on around me? I started attending my local meetings, my Tri-County Democrats, asking questions. And then when the time came, I sent my little check-in, filled out my paperwork, and bam, there I was. So, I'll take that and I'll run with the question. Anybody that's thinking about running for office, for me, I couldn't run as anything else other than I can't sell my soul for anything else, no matter how bad it is. Just can't. Because I love people, I love the human experience, and I expect people to treat other people with dignity underneath that. Even though it's not perfect, and granted, we know it's not, but I just couldn't. So, with that, once I signed up, you have to get out there and you have to make it happen. I knew I couldn't, just wait for the party to do something for me. It was more of a collaborative effort. I found out who's running over in this county. What are you doing? I collaborated with them. Who else is running in District 2? And you get with those people, and that way you become a cohesive unit, and everybody is still running the same message, and you're able to help them. Because even though I might not have been making millions of dollars like Martin Mullen had at the time, I had a couple of hundred, but I also had good volunteers that was willing to do things like this for me, that was willing to get a space, bring some people together, open up their homes for me to be able to have functions. We threw some hot dogs on the grill, and we had a good time with talking. You have to use the resources that you have, and certainly can't wait for anybody else to do it for them. So got out there, and yeah, I got smushed, but I got out there. And that's the thing. And one of these days, I'm gonna get back out there. But I am telling you, if you thank this job and want to go out the office, God bless you, because it's a hard job, but that's what we're here to do. Somebody has to do it, and why shouldn't we? Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't.
That's okay. Go ahead.
I wasn't trying to think. Before I go to another question. I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about like your position as regional coordinator of the DMC Veterans Council, like what that entails.
Okay. Registering people to vote in all 3 states mainly, because it's the way that it's broken down. There is a coordinator, like everybody has like 2 or 3 states. For the Southwestern region here, it's Oklahoma, Texas, and Louisiana. So with that, that means I'm gonna get with the Democratic Party in each one of those states and with the Veterans Council in each state. And we're gonna kind of go through that list of goals as far as how are you registering the people to vote? It's just similar to campaigning. What are we going to do to get people to register to vote and get people to vote Democrat? So that's kind of the goal with that, is campaigning on a much larger unpaid scale. Yes.
Reason I get you up here is because Barnesville was in Tulsa, we were CD1.
I remember.
Tulsa's population got big enough that they had registered as, and so they just popped out Barnesville and they put us in the CD2.
Right.
Which goes y'all from Kansas down to Texas, the whole eastern part of the state. So it's very rural and it includes Tahlequah, Muskogee, right?
Yep.
Barnesville is bigger towns in it now. And you can't feed all of that, no.
Yeah. Besides, yeah, putting lots of miles on the cart, what I would do is, let's take for instance, the strawberry festival. When, gosh, I went to a different festival in Wetumpka, it was the summer festival. Is anybody familiar with that? Any place where there's gonna be a gathering of people, that's where you want to be. And that's where I would pop up at. I was in Wetumpka paper, just walking behind this car, but there were people. And as long as you put yourself out there and talk to people, you go where the people are. That's the best thing that I can tell you. When we're dealing with something cool that's like that, there are Democrats all over the state. Most people may not tell you they're a Democrat. Sometimes they're probably not voting, but they're there. Gotta go find them, you gotta go rile them up, you gotta go, hey, I know you're here, pick that rock up, hey, I know you're under there. We gotta find them people. So if it takes going there and just somebody knows somebody, hey, do you have a cousin that lives in XYZ? I ended up going and I'll leave the town out of this part. There is a Democratic Party that is so secret in one of the rural towns that they reached out to me and we met in secret at somebody's house because one person was a superintendent. Two other people worked for Little Dixie and they did not want anybody to know. So they didn't tell me where I was going and send me an address until the day of the party. When I got there were 25 people there at the house.
I know who that was.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but and yep, you're definitely on the right track. So there are people there and they were coming from all around, we all have, Facebook, text messaging. But yeah, there are people that are meeting in secret, believe it or not. And they were like, we can see. I was like, okay, I understand.
That's a good idea, get a bigger turnout.
So absolutely. So things like that, we gotta find our tribe. Thank you for your question. What else you got?
I have a question now. I know you work with the DNC. What training programs can we access that on the DNC website so we can learn how to be a precinct officer? Oh, so many different things. Oh, sorry.
She had asked if there's something on the DNC website, maybe like training or a program that would maybe help prepare somebody wanting to be a precinct officer, so that if you were gonna go talk to somebody about it, you could say, okay, do you like X, Y, Z? How do you feel about this, that, and other? I'm gonna say yes and no. I'm gonna answer the no part first. I would have to look and find out what that is. And I'm gonna say yes, that's also on the Democratic website as well. So normally anything that takes place with the DNC is supposed to trickle down to each state, and the information is supposed to be cohesive. It's supposed to be the same.
those trainings are available. They're called T3 trainings. We've included links to those trainings when they become available in our emails, just when they send that stuff to us. So if you keep an eye on emails, we'll know when we know. They only open at certain times, and so that's why it's sent out.
Okay, that's what I was getting.
Yeah, it's not something that's just open all the time. We have sessions throughout the year. I think 2 of them. One kind of usually like spring, summertime, after the convention season is wrapped up. And that's what we're in right now, convention season. And then there'll usually be one in the fall. Generally.
That's a great question, yeah, and so,
Had one on police officer, so check the DNC site, like she said, you'll find it well. I'm over it.
appreciate you sharing that. So did everybody hear your internal training?
No.
Oh, I don't speak.
That's okay. You said you went to the website, the Oklahoma Democratic Party website, and I echo what you said as well. There are trainings going 2 times a year. If you know somebody that might be interested, or you think would make a good precinct officer. You know, most of the time people want to read what it is they're going to get into first. So maybe that's something that we could kind of blast out, or that way to say, hey, I think you would make a good precinct officer. Why don't you look at this website, get back to me and tell me what you think? Because we're just speaking on that, we need to get more people involved.
Any other questions for Danyell?
You're doing a great job.
Okay, she's gonna stick around, so if you want to talk to her, she'll be here after the meeting. We are almost done. Is there any new business, Celeste or Rebecca, that we need to cover? Yes, quickly. Yeah, if you guys will take a look at the minutes, we're gonna approve those here in a second.
I borrowed something from a great man, his name was ever pay. And it's on the back of my business card, and I'm like, that one, Dr. knows I have to put this whenever you do it. You've never heard it. I am one, but I am still one. I cannot do everything, but I can still do something. Because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. This is the man who wrote the map about a country. He was the principal speaker for 4 hours in Gettysburg. He was the speaker ahead of Lincoln. Anyway, so he had to pass my business cards around him. They're just calling cards. I don't have a business, but I'm like, oh, I can have one. Please have it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Steve.
Well,
Okay, great, thank you. One thing that just popped in my mind before we do the meetings or adjourn, so I will forget it again. Some of you guys have asked really great questions, really great questions, like Barbara, that, like I said, don't really pertain to Washington County in particular. It's more of a task for our district or our state to tackle. And with that in mind, understand that at our convention, we will be selecting the delegates that will go and run for office at the district level and who can also run for office at the state level. So if perhaps leading Washington County isn't your cup of tea, but maybe leading Congressional District 2 sounds more your cup of tea, then talk to me, because there are positions available above us that will be coming open next month at the next convention after our county convention. So just know that there are a lot of opportunities for you to serve the party between now and June. Try to pick one.
that's in Muskogee, right?
The congressional district 1 is in Muskogee, and then the state, congressional district 2 is in Muskogee, and the state is in Tulsa. Like she said, that's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Normally we have to go to Oklahoma City for that, but now it's kind of like in our backyard. So thank you, Chair Andrews, for making that happen. Yep.
It's in May.
It's the May, it's like the first Saturday in May, I believe. Yep. Okay, can I get take a look at the minutes? I told you guys to do that. Hopefully you did your homework in 3 minutes at the beginning. Our meeting was not very long last time. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes, please?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. A second? Great. Is there any objection? Nope, then they are so approved. I don't believe we have any other business. Danielle is staying here for a little bit, so please do come over and have a little chat with her. She drove an awfully long way to come and see us tonight. So don't let her leave without some good conversation. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Thank you. Can I get a second? Thank you. Any objections to adjourning? No, then we are adjourned. Thank you guys, and we'll see you at the convention. All right, thank you so much for coming. I was worried about the weather. No, one thing, so you got here, shake your hand. Since you got here, so I'm so sorry. Yeah, that would be great. Yes. Okay, let me.